Honorable Minister Shujat Bakht, Madam Yugnu Mohsin, ACCA guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is a moment of immense pleasure for me, and I feel honored today to represent the Pakistan Red Crescent Society, which is the leading national humanitarian organization and one of the most influential civil society actors in the country, created under Act of Parliament 1947 with Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah as its founding father and the first president. Dear friends and participants, we have gathered here today on this auspicious occasion to discuss and share our experiences and learnings about humanitarian ethics, dilemmas, and our ethical obligations to address these challenges in an efficient and effective manner. Global Ethic Day is a change for us, and it is a chance for us also to think ahead about the ethical challenges we face on a daily basis in our personal and professional life, and more importantly, creating awareness of ethical practices and dilemmas. Humanitarian action, because I will just talk about the humanitarian ethics. So humanitarian action is intended to save lives, alleviate sufferings, and maintain human dignity during and after man-made disaster or natural disasters or diseases or any other emergencies. Furthermore, humanitarian action should be governed by the key humanitarian principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, and independence. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the fundamental principles of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, which are reaffirmed in United Nations General Assembly resolutions and enshrined in numerous humanitarian standards and guidelines. These humanitarian principles were born by the experiences of the pioneers of modern humanitarian action, including the Red Cross Red Crescent movement, and they have developed into the ethical framework guiding the philosophy and organizational culture of all humanitarian organizations working under UN or RCRC movement. You know, as we know very well, because the Pakistan Red Crescent Society is an auxiliary to government. So it works as auxiliary in the case of disasters or diseases or any emergencies. So our duty is to give relief, but now we have also started to some extent the rescue work also in the country. So in the auxiliary role, the National Red Cross and the societies provide emergency relief in armed conflict, disaster, diseases, and other emergencies. They also play a key role in disseminating international humanitarian law and humanitarian principles. Local actors like National Red Cross and Red Crescent societies ultimately drive the effectiveness and quality of humanitarian response. They have the local knowledge, relationship, and access that enable them to be fast, impactful, and cost-effective responders during and after crisis. They are often in the strongest position to save lives and promote dignity. However, humanitarian principles are not necessarily shared by all parties in a crisis or in a war. Some local political actors or groups may not consider humanitarian principles relevant and may decide to take actions that are contrary to ethical principles and international human law. There are multiple pressures on humanitarian actors from various sources to compromise humanitarian principles. For example, to provide humanitarian aid as part of effort to achieve political goals and ends. Maintaining principled humanitarian action in the face of these pressures is a very essential task, but not an easy one. To compromise is detrimental to effective humanitarian actions. Humanitarian negotiations with all parties of conflict for humanitarian purposes alone are essential. This includes ongoing liaison and negotiations with non-state armed groups. In practice, this is likely to be armed forces, including militia, police, and political leaders also, and may include people known to have committed human rights violation. To develop and maintain key relationship, it is essential to maintain neutrality and independence in all these cases, as the perception of being partisan can lead to a loss of credibility and the ability to operate effectively and safely. Health interventions often face pressure to treat favored groups rather than those most in need. This can take the form of delivering healthcare services to a particular location or prioritizing certain groups during the disaster response. It is essential for humanitarians to establish credibility with the gain of confidence of actors to to enable decisions of provision to be made on the basis of need rather than ethnicity, political views, or other reasons related to the conflict. Providing humanitarian assistance in itself is not enough. Prioritizing safety, dignity in the crisis population is fundamental responsibility. Respect for basic human rights and protection principles must be part of the way we carry out our work. In our efforts to save lives and relieve sufferings in a disaster, we must ensure that we identify and reach the most vulnerable, excluded, or invisible within affected population. Do not cause further harm or create new risks of harm through our well-intentioned actions and interventions. Do not ignore serious protection concerns such as violence, abuse, exploitation, and many more. We should take steps to prevent and respond to protection problems through our assistance activities through information sharing, referral, and advocacy with other relevant actors. Ladies and gentlemen, as the humanitarian workers deliver aid and medical workers treat the wounded and sick, they are often directly targeted and they are always under threat and prevented from bringing relief and care to those in desperate need. Pakistan also remains one of the deadliest countries in the world for the aid workers. In recent years, many health workers were attacked in the line of their duties. Majority of these attacks targeted the polio workers and other EPI programs. Feeling the pain and suffering that visit upon aid workers and people alike in conflict areas, the Pakistan Red Crescent Society signed a Charter of Humanity which binds all the religious groups and all sects through a Charter of Humanity which they have signed 2 years back to be part of Red Crescent in their human ethics. Under this charter, the ulama and prayer leaders will use the forum to convey a message to different militant groups, volunteers and aid workers to act as per the ethics. PSS engaged civil society, and we are only minimizing people's suffering by strengthening adherence to humanitarian principles derived from our religion. Acts of humanitarianism are an essential element of religious practice for Muslims. Humanitarianism is not just the fundamental principle of the Muslim religion, but it is taught and stressed in Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, and other religions and civilizations. The act of giving money or supporting someone or helping or assisting is in all civilizations and religions. So I will just say that because Pakistan being among 10 topmost disaster-prone countries, we are roughly number 5 or number 6. So as we say Pakistan is a blessing, at the same time we say the whole Pakistan is on fault line. So this is also a blessing. So people living on fault line can always remember God. And हर वक्त कह सकते हैं अल्लाह हमारी मदद कर. So I think this country was made like this. So everybody is forced to remember God every time, anytime. In the end, I think I will thank all the organizers, guests. Thank you very much. और एक वो शेर है कि क्योंकि आज एथिकल डे के हवाले से है. पहले तो वो जो मैंने आपसे कहा पाकिस्तान जो डिजास्टर प्रोन कंट्री है उसके लिए प्रिपेयर्डनेस बहुत ज़रूरी है. और ये हमारे अभी कोर्सेज में गवर्नमेंट को देखना है कि डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्रिपेयर्डनेस इस पर बहुत तवज्जो देने की ज़रूरत है. तो वो एक शेर है कि जहाँ भौचाल फसीलों दर में रहते हैं, जहाँ भौचाल फसीलों दर में रहते हैं, हमारा हौसला देखो हम ऐसे घर में रहते हैं. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद.